Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another wonderful tasting with the Virtual Tasting Society. Today, we're excited to welcome back a brand we love, a family of Colbys that we're excited to have back. Thank you so much. Freys, a family of Freys. Gosh, English is not my first language, nor is it working today for me. Thank you so much for being Ashley and Colby. You guys are amazing. We had you guys on a couple of years ago, and your brand has been growing and doing wonderful things. I've heard you've opened new states, and you guys are crushing it in California. Thank you so much for making the time to be here with us. Please, we've been chatting before we hit record, and as much as I had time to prep my introductions, I screwed that up completely, and I haven't even had alcohol. But please, you guys talk now.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. You need a little whiskey in you to get level. But hi everybody. I'm Colby Frey, and
I'm Ashley.
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
We're the founders of Frey Ranch here in Fallon, Nevada. I'll tell you a little bit about our history and why we do what we do. And it all started. My family started farming here in northern Nevada in 1854. Nevada didn't even become a state until 1864, 10 years later, and we've been continually farming ever since. And so we've always grown wheat, rye, barley, corn, a variety, one, the other, or a combination of those grains over the years. And as Ashley and I started to take over the ranch, we were really looking for ways to do something meaningful with the crops that we grow. And at the same time, we really started to fall in love and appreciate whiskey at the same time, and kind of had this aha moment. Wait a minute, we've always grown wheat, rye, barley, and corn. It's the main ingredient in whiskey. Why are we making something special out of this? We knew that it was really high quality, and so that's why we created what we call the Whiskey Farm here in Fallon. And the grain is actually grown for a purpose. So traditionally grain is just grown on the commodity market. There's not really there's a lot of things we can do on the farm to create better quality for distilling purposes, but it almost always lowers the quantity. And so if we were just buying grain on the open market, you can bet that the farmer did whatever it takes to get the biggest quantity, not necessarily the best quality for distilling purposes. And so by growing it ourselves is the best way to ensure that we get the best quality. And with anything with better inputs, you end up with better outputs. And so we really focus on the quality of the grains, first and foremost here on the farm. And then we take it to the distillery, which I'll give you guys a distillery tour in just a second and show you, how we don't cut any corners. And we really try to focus on the entire process. Awesome. We're in Fallon, Nevada, which Fallon is considered the oasis of Nevada. Really, Nevada is the driest state in the nation. We get beautiful water that comes from both sides of Lake Tahoe and the Sierra Mountains. We call it Sierra Snowmelt that comes down, and that's what we use to irrigate all of our crops with. And so we're really lucky to be where we are. There's so many reasons why our area is ideal for growing all the crops that we grow, but also making and aging really whiskey in a quality way too. Kind of a fun fact is we're actually 100 miles closer we're in northern Nevada, close to Reno. We're 100 miles closer to San Francisco or Napa Valley than we are Las Vegas, just to kind of put it in perspective. And we call it the high desert. So you get really hot days and cool nights that allows the plants to grow during the hot days, to breed during the cool nights, and really allows that quality growth cycle. So what did I miss, Ashley?
No, I think you got it.
I could talk about farming for hours, but
yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump in with our flagship bourbon. It's going to be the 90 proof. And I'll walk you guys through a tasting while Colby gets all set up for the tour. I see you jumped ahead.
I already did mine.
So first sample is going to be our 90 proof flagship bourbon. Bourbon represents about 80% of our production out here at Frey Ranch. It is the staple, what we're going to be distilling the majority of the time. So the first pour is our bourbon at 90 proof. It's a 4-grain whiskey. We utilize the corn, wheat, barley, and rye that are grown right here on the farm. We actually have the mash bill on the back of every single bottle. So really quick, it's 66% corn, 10% wheat, 11 rye, 12 two-row malting barley. And please share your tasting notes out loud or in the chat. That's what makes whiskey fun, is we're all going to pick up different stuff. I'll share mine.
So on the corn, do you guys ever play around with different varietals of corn? I know that was a big thing for a while in bourbon, like red corn and whatnot.
We have planted other varieties of corn, but we've never distilled them. So we just use the yellow dent corn. It's a non-GMO version. And but yeah, we've grown them before, mostly ornamental, where it's that beautiful color. My mom loves them to decorate and stuff, and we put them around, as mostly decoration, to be honest.
Yeah, and we've tried those a lot. I'll answer real quick while I'm walking over to the distillery, but um, we just don't like them as much as the traditional yellow dent corn. And there's a saying in the wine industry that you got to like what you make because you might end up drinking it all yourself. And we've tried different types like Bloody Butcher and different types of like glass gem ornamental and things like that, and it just didn't taste the same, and it's a little funky to us, and we just didn't care for it quite as much. So
Awesome. So I'll just jump really quickly in with the tasting notes. Today I'm getting some like banana foster on the nose, a little bit of orange peel, just a nice sweetness from the corn on the front of the palate. That like chocolate covered banana to me is like following all the way through. Um, and then baking spices on the finish, I'm picking up a lot.
okay, I'm ready whenever you are, Ash.
Awesome. So if you want to go ahead and spotlight Colby, and we'll just keep sipping on our bourbon.
All right, can you guys see me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, looks
All right,
good.
cool. I'm standing right in the middle of the farm here. As you can see, we got a nice lineup of tractors right over there. I think I can almost see the combine shut down right now. Well, I can't zoom, but it's right there. But we're right in the middle of the farm. You can see the yellow field right there. That's the rye field that we just harvested. And probably a mile back that way, we have another wheat field that they just started. But we got our distillery right here. We have a barrel house. Our mill is set up right on the other side of the barrel house. We have silos where we store all the grains, the wheat, rye, barley, and corn, several more silos behind there. We have our old dairy barn that my grandpa built in the 50s that we converted into the office. That's where Ashley is right now, and some old antique tractors right here. And then we have Ashley and I live right here on the farm. There's our house. So here's our work commute is distillery, office, or sorry, house, office, distillery. So it's literally
You
right
know
in the
that
middle
like
of the farm.
80% of the people on this call are in LA, right? Like you
Uh,
really got to rub that one in. That's messed
Yeah,
up.
I know. So that's why we got a rough commute, and we had
The
to
traffic there must be so bad.
yeah, oh yeah, it's we got a lot of tractor traffic, I guess, is the only thing we got to worry about here. So we did a lot of our own design for the distillery. So my dad's really good on AutoCAD. He said, "How tall do you want it? How wide do you want it?" We designed the building all ourselves. We did all of our own electrical, plumbing, gas lines, steam lines, all of the, utility work was all done by us. The grading, everything. We had a contractor kind of help us put the actual building together, but we really tried to incorporate parts of the ranch into the distillery, and so we'll walk inside real quick and. Um, one unique thing about our distillery is I'm sure most of you are fairly familiar with distillation, but we actually have a continuous still and a pot still. So we feel like they're both really beneficial for different reasons. So with continuous stills, we can do a lot of volume. With a pot still, we can do a lot better quality. We feel because we can take a dedicated, very precise heads, hearts, and tails cut. So I'll explain the kind of the basics of distillation for those of you that might not not know yet. But alcohol has a lower 72 degrees. So you heat anything in it with alcohol above 172, the alcohol begins to boil. That boiling alcohol turns into a vapor, and you condense that boiling alcohol vapor back into a liquid by cooling it. So it's fairly simple, and when you explain it like that, but it's a lot more complicated. The way the continuous stills works is we pump in mash. You can see it right of the column. We inject steam at the bottom. As the mash falls down the column, the steam heats it up. The alcohol goes up the top of the column through two condensers and comes out this side continuously. So as long as we're pumping in mash at the top, steam at the bottom, we get that alcohol nonstop. So it goes from about 8% mash in the continuous still to about 40% alcohol. So essentially, we're using these to strip the grains out of the mash and take it from 8% to 40%. Then we pump that 40% alcohol into the pot still. Now, a traditional continuous still would have what's called a doubler right next to the still. Now, the doubler is also a continuous operation. And the problem is there's no way to really differentiate the heads, the hearts, and the tails cuts. They say there's ways to do it on continuous stills, but it's not the same as a pot still. And so what we do is rather than having a doubler, we have a pot still where we run it one batch at a time. And so what we do is we fill up the pot still, we heat it up, we collect the heads, which is what comes off first. It's kind of toxic, and really there's things like methanol and acetone and these things. They almost always have lower boiling points than alcohol. So we throw those away. Then the hearts or the middle run is what we want to keep. And as the temperature rises, you get these like fusel oils. They're called the tails. And it's just kind of oily and off flavored and just not the quality that we want to put in the barrel too. So we can separate those in the pot still. And we do that all with the different temperature. It has to do with the different boiling points and temperatures. Well, in the continuous still, we're continuously pumping in mash at the top, steam at the bottom. There's no way to really differentiate those different boiling points like you can in a pot still. And so that's why we feel like we got the best of both worlds, because the problem with a pot still is you can't do a lot of volume with it. It's really slow. If we were to put 8% mash in there, we would have to heat it up. We have to wait for it to heat up. We collect the heads, we collect the hearts, we collect the tails. We have to let it cool down, empty it out. It's a really slow process. So we get the best of both worlds because we're stripping out all the alcohol in the continuous stills, taking it from 8% mash to 40% alcohol, and then redistilling it in the pot still where we can take a really accurate heads, hearts, and tails cuts. So now we're getting quality and that quality that we want from a pot still, but we're able to get 5 times more volume out of the pot still per batch by putting that 40% alcohol rather than the 8% alcohol. You can see we're making bourbon today. You can see how crystal clear and beautiful it's coming out right now. Right now it's coming out at right at 70% alcohol. That's called the hydrometer. The hydrometer, the more it floats, the lower the proof, the more it sinks. It actually has to do with specific gravity, which alcohol has a lower specific gravity than water. And so it'll either float or sink more, and it'll tell us the proof in real time as it's coming off the stills. The stills were made by Vendome Copper and Brass. Vendome made all the big guys stills in Kentucky. I'm sure if you guys have ever gone on tours or went to the Bourbon Trail or anything, you've seen a lot of their work. But at the time, they made hundreds, if not thousands, of continuous and pot stills, but they never made them where they work in unison together like this as the first of its kind. And so when we ordered our stills, they built it in the factory. They took 2 pictures, they disassembled it, they sent us the 2 pictures and the stills, and I think they said for something like $35,000, we'll come and point fingers and tell you how to put it together. And us being farmers said, nope, we got it. We looked at these 2 pictures, we put the entire thing together, and got it running. Everything was running good, and called Vendome, said, hey, we got it running. It was a little difficult looking at these 2 pictures, but everything's fine. And the guy on the other end of the call said, oh, I didn't send you the blueprints. And they had blueprints this whole time, and we didn't get them till after it was all put together. But honestly, it was a blessing in disguise, because by really understanding how it works, the intricacies of what it looks like on the inside and why it does what it does, it's the best way to get the most out of it. So by us putting it together ourselves allows us to do 2 things: get the best product out of it, number one, and number 2, we've never had an unplanned day of shutdown because we really understand the stills, how they work and why they do what they do. So we're going to go back to the fermentation room now. So we got, right now we have 6 5,000-gallon fermenters, 2 5,000-gallon beer wells. I'm sorry, mash cookers, and 1 5,000-gallon beer well. See the mash cooker right here. They're just cleaning it out. They steam it in between batches. But we're going here. Oh, this one, they just pump full. Like, I wish you guys could smell this right now, because this one is fresh. And if you could actually taste it, it's super sweet. Because what happens is the mash cooker, we cook the grain Grain has a lot of starch in it, and starch is essentially like a long sugar molecule. So by cooking the grain, we break that starch into fermentable sugars. It's really important. Then we cool it down. We add yeast. The yeast converts those now fermentable sugars into alcohol during the fermentation process. So as time goes on, the sugar content is going down. So that's why this smells so sweet right now. Then the alcohol content is going up. So you can see this one right here is a little bit different. There's another one on the other side of the building that's really moving, but if I go back there, I'll probably lose you guys. So we'll just look at this one. And so there's three things happening here. The yeast is converting the sugar into alcohol. It's also creating CO2, which is creating all these bubbles and all the movement in this tank. And then it's also creating heat. So if you guys could put your hand right here, you'd actually feel a lot of heat coming up off of the fermenter. So all of the tanks are jacketed on the outside where they get cooled. So that if they get too hot, the yeast could actually die off. And so it's really important part of the process to keep fermentation really even and consistent. Everything we do is sour mash. So we put a little bit of the liquid that comes off the stills is very acidic. We take a little bit of the liquid that comes off the continuous stills into the mash cooker. That helps lower the pH of the next batch and create a consistency from batch to batch. But that lower pH actually helps the yeast, creates a better environment for the yeast to work in. And so that's why if you could taste this, it's going to be a little bit sweet, a little bit sour. But when the fermentation's done, it's actually really sour. The tastes really like a sour beer if you guys have ever had sour beer. Once fermentation's done, we go over to the beer well. The beer well has a big agitator that keeps the liquids and the solids from separating. So this is what's feeding those continuous stills. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but I pointed out a little sight glass. Well, it's coming from this tank under the ground to the continuous stills and getting distilled. One of the cool things about being here on the farm is in the farm, all of our byproducts get used. So my reception on my phone, thank you. If my phone reception would work, I would take you out back and show you where we have a separator that separates the liquids and the solids. The solids go to the dairy next door. Literally, a John Deere tractor takes it to the dairy next door. All the solids get fed to the dairy cows. The liquid goes into our irrigation system. It's very acidic, and our ground here is a little on the alkaline side. So by putting that acidic liquid on our soil, it helps balance the pH so that we can grow better crops. So we're actually able to benefit from it, which is really, really a great thing for us being here on the farm. We're inside our first barrel warehouse. This one holds 1,456 full-size whiskey barrels. We actually have 3 more out back. Those 3 hold 8,400 barrels each. So we've produced a lot of whiskey here on the farm so far. So anyways, we do not heat or air condition our barrel warehouses. That's really important because the whiskey will expand during the hot summers and it actually like pushes into the wood, that whiskey, and it contracts during the cold winters. If I was to take off one of these bungs, it would shoot out right now in the summer because that's in that expansion phase. It's got pressure. You can actually see the barrels seeping because of that pressure. In the winter, it's actually really hard to pull the bung out because it's got that vacuum pulling it back down into the wood. And so here in northern Nevada, it gets up to 108, 110 during the hottest part of the summer. It gets up to or down to about 0 degrees during the coldest part of the winter. And so we really have that temperature fluctuation that you really need to really accelerate the aging by pushing that whiskey into the wood and that char level and out of the wood. And so all of our barrels are a char 4 on the staves, a char 3 on the heads. So it gives it a little bit of different complexity. The higher the char level, usually the sweeter flavors you get. And we wanted kind of that sweetness. You get a lot of like the chocolates and the caramels and vanillas and stuff from the 4s, and you get a little bit of more of the herbal flavors from the 3s, which we really wanted both in our whiskey. So I'm standing right next to the door because even though it's probably 10 degrees hotter outside. There's not a lot of humidity, but that humidity in here really like it hits you right now. So you can see it's 90 degrees in here right now, only 55% humidity, but I shut off the humidifier because it'd be loud, but you can actually see it right there. We actually add humidity to the barrel warehouse, and that's important for two reasons. At high humidity, you obviously have less angel share. That's really important. So we have less loss to evaporation. But you also get better quality at high humidity because there's still angel share, there's still evaporation at high humidity, but the ratio of water to alcohol at low humidity, you actually lose more water than alcohol. At high humidity, you actually lose more alcohol than water. And so what that means is at high humidity, your proof will stay the same or possibly go down. At low humidity, your proof could go way up and get out of control. The problem with that is then we have to add more water to get it to our 90 proof flagship bourbon or 100 proof rye, and then it's less flavorful, it's less concentrated, and so it's really important for us to keep the proof in check so that we don't have to proof it down. I know there's a lot of people that love high proof, but that's a big issue here. So Nevada being so dry, if I go outside right now, it's probably 8 or 10% humidity, and a huge difference from in here. What did I miss, Ash? Anything?
No, you're good. I just jumped into the rye. If you want to head back and everybody can kind of get into their rye sample. Hope
Right on.
everybody
I'll see you in a
enjoyed the
minute.
bourbon.
Colby, we see one really black barrel as opposed to all the others. Why is
Right.
that one black?
That one right there?
Yeah.
Or there's actually a couple, and I'll walk in here a little further, but I might lose you. But it's funny because you see this one right over here is very, very black. Everybody thinks that those barrels are, something's wrong with them. It's actually that one. That one's leaking and it's dripping onto those ones. Same over here. It's that expansion right now is pushing that whiskey out of the wood, and wood's imperfect and they don't all hold perfectly. And that's what like here. Um, how do I explain it? I mean, you guys have all probably seen barrels where the only thing holding them together are the hoops, and you take those hoops off and they disintegrate. So you can see there's some places like this where you get a little bit of seepage, and that's because of this extreme temperature difference where it's in that expansion phase. Yeah, so that one right there is actually probably leaking from right there, and it's dripping onto that black barrel right there.
Got it. Okay. Thank
So
you.
we've had a lot of barrels where our average angel share over the 5 or 6 years is probably about 35 to 40%. It's actually pretty high. But we've had several barrels where we take them and they're completely empty because the heads pop off. They expand so much. It's pretty crazy where you get some of the old barrels and the heads, the ends of the barrels are completely like pushed out from expanding from that expansion and contraction. Cool. All
Thank
right.
you.
So just to get into the rye whiskey, rye represents about 15% of our production in the distillery, where the bourbon is 80, rye is 15. Mash bill on the rye is super easy. It's 100% rye. So no influence from any other grain is in this whiskey. It's truly a representation of our rye that we grow, distilled by itself, aged by itself, and bottled by itself. So one of my favorite whiskeys to sip. It's got some fantastic sweet notes, like on the nose, I'm getting bazooka bubblegum, a little bit of sarsaparilla, honey on the front of the palate, a little bit of like citrus or a grapefruit on the finish. And today I'm picking up black pepper too. It's really, really phenomenal. It's a bottled in bond, so 100 proof. We've got our biggest and best awards from the rye. We've got top 10 in the Whiskey Advocate Fall Buying Guide. Which was really exciting. It's got double gold from San Francisco. Really a great rye to sip on its own. It even holds up really nice in cocktails.
This is the one bottle I always recommend to people. It's interesting that it's only 15% of your production, but to me, this is really amazing. Really
Yeah,
good.
what are you guys
All right.
picking up?
Gosh, she didn't tell that story as good as. So when we got top 10 in the Whiskey Advocate Fall Buying Guide, it was literally right after we launched with our rye, and we launched in December of 2019 with our bourbon. Right at the end, it was probably July of 2020, so right in the middle of COVID, and we got to taste the rye all the time. We knew we liked it, but we were like, oh, we hope everybody else likes it too. So we launched it, sent a bottle to Whiskey Advocate out of like 270 whiskeys. It got top 10. But my favorite part is their social media said our top 10 whiskeys come from Kentucky, Tennessee, Nevada, Scotland, and Ireland. And I was like, how cool is that? As we're just launching this whiskey that, we were hoping everybody liked, got top 10 amongst all these other amazing whiskey growing regions and countries that have had hundreds of years to get their shit together.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Someone said they're picking up spearmint, and absolutely, yeah. Dried mint, spearmint, for sure. Especially this batch.
Yeah, 100% rye is a 100% pain in the ass to make. There's polymers in rye that are really like slimy. Like if you stick your finger in the fermenter and you kind of go like this, it's stringy and slimy. The problem with that is during fermentation, it creates CO2. That CO2 naturally comes to the top of the tank and dissipates out in the atmosphere. Well, it's so thick, the viscosity, that slimy part doesn't allow the CO2 to just float to the top. So it actually expands. You get a lot of tank overflows and things like that. So that's why you almost always see a little bit of something else in rye. But we fell in love with the rye at 100%. Our first few batches, we said we don't want any outside influence in flavor. So if we did put in 10% of barley or wheat or corn or something else, we wouldn't really know what the rye tastes like by itself. And we really fell in love with it. So we kept it at 100% rye, even though it's a huge pain to make.
Yeah.
But
is it malted or unmalted rye?
Unmalted rye. So we use commercial enzymes to do for the enzymes for the conversion, starch conversion.
Is there a difference in rye varietals? Because I know people talk about corn, but rye seems to be just rye,
There's a lot of different types of rye varietals. Ours is actually a Canadian variety because we get really cold winters, and so we need that. We actually tried. There's like some California varieties that they call them winter ryes, and we tried those. They didn't work at all because our winters were way too cold for that specific variety. And so this year we always try different ones, and that's with all of the grains. We'll try different varieties every year. So this year it's been 4 or 5 years since we've tried different varieties of rye. But this year we tried 3 different varieties of rye, just small test plots to see if we like it and see how it grows. Now we got it later. We just harvested it. So we'll see how it mills. We'll see how it ferments. We'll see how it distills and how it tastes, the most important. And then we'll kind of try to make decisions if we want to do a little more the next year or just forget about that variety in general. I think last year we did 14 different varieties of corn. This year we did 7 varieties of corn as well, a couple varieties of barley. This year, one kind of wheat. I think our wheat, we know what we like, and we've done so many trials and nothing ever beats our wheat. So we're sticking with that one.
Awesome. Question in the chat is how tall are the columns?
The columns, that's a good
3, I thought.
question. I think they're 23 feet each, yeah. And there's 2 of them. So rather than, we actually doubled the size of this distillery in 2021 or 2. And so rather than getting a new still, like a bigger still, we just replaced it with another twin to it. And then we used to have a 500-gallon pot still. Now we have a 1,000-gallon pot still. And so we essentially doubled our production. But I like the idea of having 2 because it's always redundant. If one breaks, we can keep working on it while we fix the other one. But then also it's gonna continue to give the same flavor versus having something completely different.
Really quick, just in the interest of time, if you guys want to get out your farm strength sample, we've got ours pre-poured. You got yours? Oh, you did. So this is our cask strength version of our 4-grain bourbon. Same mash bill as the first sample, which was at 90 proof. This one is cast strength. I don't know exactly what batch, but they usually are between 120 to 123 proof. So I get a lot of the same flavor profile as the flagship bourbon. It's just going to be a little bit more richer and intense and concentrated. So I get like creme brulee, much richer and viscous on the palate for me.
Yeah, I know your farm strength was a long-awaited release. People kept chasing your barrel picks, and then this was a new addition to the lineup that you guys released, right?
Yeah, and we call it farm strength. That's how we drink it on the farm. It's funny because the inspiration, like we'd always made our 90 proof flagship bourbon, and then we have barrel picks that were barrel strength. And what I would do is every batch of our traditional 90 proof bourbon, I would tell the guys, like, save me 2 or 3 bottles. And I wanted to have a catalog and be able to go back and taste each one in the future if I wanted to at cask strength before we cut it down to 90. And I have 0 of those bottles left because it's so freaking good that we just drank it. We drank them all. It's like what we found ourselves gravitating to at the end of the day when we wanted to taste something or whatever. And so we just said, we got to start bottling it like that. So it's literally like if you have a batch 12 of our farm strength, it's the same as our batch 12 of our 90 proof. It's the same liquid, just uncut and unfiltered. Our 90 proof is unfiltered too, but just uncut.
Wow, how big are your batches?
Each batch is about 100 barrels.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And you keep saying that this is a 4-grain. I did get the email yesterday about your new 5-grain bourbon coming out.
Yeah.
You got to tell us about that. That's coming tomorrow.
Awesome. Yeah, we did a couple single barrels that were a 5-grain. So we included the oat in it, which is a lot of fun. They're phenomenal, really fun to taste, and you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, we've always grown wheat, rye, barley, corn, and oats. We actually have like if you come to the tasting room, 100% oat whiskey that you can taste. It's completely different. But our goal from the beginning was to really showcase the grains. People always ask, like, are you going to do barrel finished or, anything like that? And my answer is always no, although we did do one, but it's always no, because like our goal is to showcase the grains, and that almost like kind of masks the grains or takes away the grain flavor. So we do that with different mash bills. So like we have the 5-grain bourbon with oats. We have 4-grain bourbons where it's wheat, rye, barley, and oats, and it's wheat or corn or rye, barley, corn, and oats, whatever. We have 100% wheat, 100% corn, 100% malted corn. We have a malted rye. We have a quad malt where it's wheat, rye, barley, and corn they're all 4 grains are malted in the same mash bill as our bourbon. We have a smoked oat and rye. We have Scotch style whiskeys. We have unmalted barleys. Lots of fun different mash bills. And I've had a lot of people tell me like, with bourbon, just throw in 2/3 corn and some rye and barley or wheat and barley, it doesn't matter, but if you come and taste our wheat, our rye, our barley, and our corn by themselves, you can't tell me that the grains, the mash bills don't matter, or that they're completely different, and it's so fun to taste them by themselves. That's one thing that we didn't really talk about is we, like in our bourbons that we're trying right now, the barley that's malted in the bourbons is all malted right here on site. We have a pretty sophisticated malt house where we can malt barley, but we can also malt other grains like corn, rye, and wheat. And so that's, like I said earlier, our quad malt is malted wheat, malted corn, malted rye, malted barley, in the same mash bills as our bourbon, and it tastes completely different, which you guys will taste the malted corn, I think, here probably next.
I think we're doing
the
malted corn. No, I think, we can go ahead and
malted
get
corn. So try that. It tastes completely different than 100% unmalted corn. To me, the malted corn tastes like this time of year, and it's probably a couple weeks ago, when the corn's about shoulder high, it's growing super fast. And when we irrigate, we're irrigating 24 hours a day. And when you walk through at midnight, it's transpiring all this humidity and this. It's really humid, and like the smell in the cornfield at midnight when you're walking through it is exactly what this 100% malted corn tastes like.
So Colby transitioned pretty quickly to the malted corn, but there was just a question that came through about if we use thicker staves than normal to help with the heat expansion. We don't. All of our barrels are standard 53-gallon American oak barrels.
Yeah.
So.
But we usually, there's 1 out of every 1,000 that will be completely empty.
Yeah.
We've noticed. So it's not a crazy amount, but it happens.
Yeah, this is a really fun one.
Yeah.
So
This
the malted
malted
corn
corn-
is in our malted series. Go ahead.
This malted corn is the one whiskey I talk about ever since I came to visit you guys and I got to try this. This has been the one whiskey I've brought up in multiple conversations. I'm like, this is the most unique and interesting and amazing pours you're gonna have. For me, it was like a reminiscent of my childhood, you know, like in a cornfield and biting into a fresh piece of corn, like off the tree,
Yeah.
off the.
And it's crazy. And we don't have it bottled yet, but we have some unmalted corn and it's completely different. Just that malting that happens. And I wish we had it, like we're sold out of our quad malt. I think that one was on Fred Minnick's top 100 a few times and it got a lot of praise. But it's got malted rye, malted wheat, malted barley, and then malted corn in it too. But what I love about that one is it's literally the same mash bill as these our normal flagship bourbons, and it's completely different in flavor. So it just shows you what malting does and how it changes the profile.
Yeah, it is really fun. So we talked about the bourbon being 80% of our production, the rye being 15, the last 5% of our production is all in innovation. So these last 3 samples are going to be part of our innovation. And I don't know if you guys did this on purpose, Vadim with Jesse, but you got a whiskey from our single grain, one from our malted series, and then one from our smoked series. So we're going to taste through really a great lineup, just showing kind of the capabilities of what we do on the farm and in the distillery. So yeah, this first one being in our malted series is 100% corn, and 100% of it is malted, aged on site too. Our bottle here is aged 7 years, 3 months, which I think is probably about the same that you guys have.
Are your expressions getting older and older as time goes on?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, our rye that we're going to be putting out is going to be going to a 6-year age statement. We just bottled it, which is really fun. We're really proud of that. And all of our bourbons are going to be 5. So
Well, and 5 or more. And actually some of the bourbon is 6. And that's why we try to do like a 12-month span. So we can't, our rye really has been an average of 6 for a couple of years, but some of it's under 6. So we don't, but now it'll be all like pretty much 6 to 7. So our bourbon right now is like a little over 5.5 to 6.5. So and pretty soon we'll be able to age it up and put that into a 6-year age statement too.
Right. Yeah. But we've never bottled anything that's less than 4. I mean, even our first release had 4.7 to 5.3 years old.
Yeah, it was an average of 5. So I don't think we, From the beginning, we always said you only get one first impression. So we didn't want to put any 2 or 3 or young, super young whiskeys out.
So sometimes we'll drop these on our website. If you guys are interested, you can go to freyranch.com and sign up for our email list. We call it The Dirt. And throughout the year, we're always releasing some really fun innovation, always release it to our e-news subscribers in our online shop and the tasting room first. So a lot of this stuff you won't find out in retail, just our online store and the tasting room, which I know we're hard to get to because we are in rural Nevada, but you know, next best is our online store. But
and a lot of these
we
don't have a lot. Like the last one sold out online pretty fast.
Yeah, the oat whiskey sold out in less than 15 minutes, or that 5 grain.
5 grain, yeah.
Your oat is pretty legendary. I've heard multiple people talk about your 100% oat.
Well, we have a couple oat single barrels coming out that are like stupid good. Like they're not like our normal flagship oat really tastes like oats. Like you can tell it's oats. This one you can tell it's oat, but it's like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm kind of excited to see.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah. I mean, the oat was actually pretty
single barrels.
Single barrels. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do the barley next.
Yep, I poured mine
You
already.
poured yours? Okay.
Are you
So this
planning
is
to play around with any other grains? Since
What else do we have coming
we've
out?
done
Yeah.
triticale, which is actually it's a wheat rye hybrid. But it's not old. We haven't bottled it yet. But we grow a little bit of that every year and make a little bit of whiskey. So I think the oldest is probably 3.5 years old right now. We've tried a thing called teff, which is like it's a really fine grain that they use to make flatbreads. It doesn't rise to make bread. So like the I forget, it's like an Ethiopian flatbread. I don't know what they call it, but what's it called?
Ethiopian bread, injera.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, when you like scoop up the other food and yep. So we've tried teff, and that's really, besides that, then we'll take, and we have the smoker where we can smoke our grains, and then we have the malt house where we can malt the grains and change them. And so it is kind of fun to play around with that. We tell everybody it's only 5% of our production, but it's 95% of the fun.
This is really nice on the palate.
Barley.
Oh yeah, I love it. I'm getting like some like peanut butter and like deep berry jam too.
What's the proof on this one?
110.
110.
Yeah.
Something that was said earlier. Frey Ranch in Fallon is about 2 hours outside of Mammoth. So if you're a fan of that area and you get up there, it is well worth the drive to go and check it out. It's not that far off the beaten path, and I got to see a whole bunch of the farm itself, and it is a fantastic place, and the tasting room is really well set up, and you can get some cool stuff. I got the 100% oat.
All right.
Yeah, so it's absolutely worth it.
Well, thank you, Mark.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, we're also an hour outside of Reno if you're ever in this side, or about an hour and 40 minutes from Lake Tahoe.
I think Vadim did
I-
Tahoe, right?
Yeah.
Since we're deviating and talking a little bit about visits, I am the president of a Miata club down up here in Oregon,
Uh-huh.
and I am in the process of planning a trip with probably about 5 or 6, maybe up to 10 cars, all the way down to you guys,
Oh, nice.
across the eastern part of Oregon, and then finishing off where you in your area, and probably then spending the night in Reno. But anyway, just to let you
Wow,
know,
that sounds wonderful.
I'd love to get contact info, and we'll start,
Yeah.
talking about it a little bit. So
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. We'll set it up with Jesse,
Yeah, or
yeah.
you can reach out to super easy. It's info at freyranch.com.
yeah.
okay, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
You can bring a Miata.
We love our Miatas.
I love that. Let's see. We've got one more sample, but we've also got the raffle, and I want to make sure that we get any more questions too.
wait, did we already taste the single malt?
We haven't, no.
Nope,
I'm
that's
pouring
what-
mine right now.
So this one's a smoke series, and it's going to taste a little bit different than your traditional scotches, but it's 100% malted barley grown on the farm here. But we smoked it ourselves, and the way that we did it is we created our own like peat, which peat is essentially like decomposed plant matter over thousands of years in these bogs. They dig it up and they use that to smoke and dry the barley. Well, what we did is we decomposed corn stalks and composted them. Then we got this flour off of the mill and made it wet to make like a paste, and we pressed it in a hydraulic press into these blocks, then dehydrated it and used our homemade smoker, which is a 25-ton silo, and has a wood burning stove on the ground and a chimney that goes up to the top of the silo, and then a little fan at the bottom, which pulls that smoke through the chimney, through the barley, and out the bottom of the silo. And so that's how we smoked this one. So
You use it to stop the germination or just for the flavor?
just for the flavor. Yeah, we have our big malting drums dry it down enough. I haven't been, it's too hard to get it in the 25-ton silo wet. And then my worry has always been that if we don't put the smoke in from the top and we heat it up, it is actually going to be really hard to be consistent for us the way that we're set up. Because if you heat up the barley, it's just like in beer, different types of malt are what make darker, lighter beers. So you can roast the malts and you get chocolate malts and things like that. And I really wanted to be consistent. So that's why we did it from the top and just used it to flavor it rather than to dry it or heat it up in any way.
Yeah, this one's just, I get some like really nice floral and sweet notes.
Yeah.
Are you guys measuring the ppm on it or no?
No, we haven't. And it has actually varied from year to year. And we do literally the same thing. So it's kind of fun to taste it,
It is,
blend it
yeah.
together and
Yeah.
see the differences. But
I didn't realize how quickly we were flying through this. I invite everyone to turn on their cameras for just a second so we can take a group photo. It is our tradition to kind of smile for a second and get everybody on camera so we can say thank you to you guys for spending the evening with us and to everyone from the group that's here. These have all been fantastic, and we're looking forward to trying more things from Frey Ranch. Tomorrow on the Frey Ranch website, the 5 malt is coming out, or not the 5 malt, 5 grain bourbon
Was
is
it
coming
tomorrow?
out.
No,
I think that was last week.
it was last week, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're a week late.
Oh my God, I
It
was
sold
It's
out in
sold
like
out.
5 minutes or 10 minutes. Yeah.
It's
sold out.
gone.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
join our email list because we've got a lot of fun whiskey drops that are going to be coming up.
Yeah.
There you go. So do that. Don't listen to me. Do that. But Jordan, get back here. Everyone, raise a glass. Thank you so much, Ashley, Colby. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Smile.
Thank you guys.
Got it.
Cool.
Sorry, I gotta, you guys measuring the ppm on the smoke or no?
No.
And do you mark the American single malt as smoky, or do you? Because I don't remember what the bottles look like.
Yes.
Yeah, so this so that's in our smoked grain series. So like we have 3 series, our specialty series, which is our single grain, where it's like the barley that we tried is in the single grain series because it's 100% barley. We have the smoked series, which is it's called the American single malt smoked whiskey, and then we have our malted series, which is that malted corn. So that is, that it does say smoked American single malt and then smoked whiskey underneath it. That one, the one we have here is 6 years, 1 month.
Very cool.
But that's this is a good variety of different flavored.
Yeah, you guys got them all today,
to try.
really.
Yeah.
Great lineup.
Well, thank you. I'm curious where people land as their favorite. I'm going to toss out the poll real quick.
Oh, I love that.
Sophie's choice.
Pick your favorite child.
Yeah.
Right?
I know, that's what I always say.
And that's what people always ask me that too. Like, what's your favorite whiskey? And it is kind of funny how like some days I gravitate towards certain ones and I think I get bored drinking one whiskey all the time, So that's the best part. It depends on your mood. It depends on your hydration level, what you ate, how you're feeling that day. Like, it's really fun.
Hard for me to choose. They're all so good.
I have a question. Next month, I'm flying to Reno to just flying into Reno and going to Tahoe, but I'm going to try and make it to your distillery. If I can't make it, are there certain stores in either Reno or Tahoe that have kind of unique private barrels that you would recommend checking out?
It's hard to tell like who's in stock, like for us to keep track.
What side
like
of Tahoe? Are you going to be in South Shore or North Shore?
North Shore.
North Shore. So I would go to the Rayleighs. That's an
Yeah.
incline.
And they
Yeah.
might have some wheat there.
Rayleigh's actually, just so you guys know, I know Rayleigh's is in California and I don't think they're in Southern California, but Northern California.
Right.
They do a phenomenal job with their barrel picks and getting some really fun, different whiskeys. I think their buyer does a really, really great job of kind of
They
like,
had a-
it's like, and it's not the lockbox,
If you
which
get-
is great.
If you get lucky and they have a single barrel 100% wheat there, buy that one, because those
Yeah.
have been going crazy. I don't know. There's some of those that went on secondary for, I mean, $600-800, and I think it's $100
Yeah.
there. So anyways,
Okay.
they might have 100%, they might have the 100% our 375 wheats there, or a single barrel, but we don't really know. Stop.
All right.
Yeah, Rayleigh's is a great stop. There's also a really fun store called Incline
Spirits and
Spirits.
cigar.
Yeah,
And they
Um,
sometimes have some single barrels
they
of ours,
do,
but
yeah.
that's a really good place to go.
yeah, and that's
Good-
like
good
an
luck.
independent mom and pop, and they do a good job.
Good whiskey selection, yeah.
Thank you. Great choices.
You guys being the destination in Reno, you should try to get your bottles into the Reno airport.
We do. It's funny
Yeah,
because it used to be in
it's
there.
tough, yeah.
I can imagine. The distribution part is very difficult.
It is.
It is, yeah.
What's the inspiration?
Oh,
of it?
that's actually
okay.
didn't talk about the whole.
Yeah, I didn't talk
deal,
about the
yeah.
bottle. So, those of you that have had the opportunity to hold our bottle and experience Frey Ranch in person, you'll understand that our whole package is really a piece of art, and everything does tie back to me and Colby on the farm. So the toppers are the shape of a bolt, which is a common tool that Colby uses here on the farm, and something at the end of the night he was always cleaning out of his pockets. So what would Colby just kind of put at the top and use to seal the bottle. The yellow color represents the corn that grows right here at the Frey Ranch, and then the shape of the label represents a belt buckle and a belt that was passed down from Colby's grandfather to his dad. It wraps all the way around the bottle, and if you guys ever see him out in market, he almost always has it on. And then my favorite design element embossed along the rim of the glass, it says, "Be good to the land, and the land will be good to you." Jane's got it there. One of our favorite design elements, because it's the hardest one to achieve, but that's our Frey family motto, and something that we live by on the farm every day. And really taking good care of the soil is important to us. So.
Yeah, if you take without giving back, then we don't have a future as farmers. And my goal is to pass it on to my kids in as good or better condition. I'm really lucky because I received the farm in really great condition. And we just consider ourselves temporary stewards of the land. Like, we can't take it with us when we die. So we need to take really good care of it until we can pass it on to the next generation.
Are there any bottles of the special topper left?
Oh, the
tractor?
Harvester series.
Yeah.
That
No.
one's sold out, but
That was sold out
I
in
will
like
tell you
17
guys,
seconds online.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Like, that was
Yes.
nuts.
Yeah, I will tell you guys that we're gonna do we call it our Harvester series. That was our first harvest. We're gonna be doing a second harvest, and we'll be releasing I think 600 bottles. Last time we only did 500. Nancy Fraley helped us with the blend. We're just doing the final tweaks on it right now. It's delicious as is. It's so good. But we're going to be doing a lottery system online. So make sure you're signed up for our email list, because that's where you will be able to sign up for the lottery.
Yeah, it's crazy. We used to, we're not allowed to ship here in Nevada. It's against the law. So we have a fulfillment center in California, and we crashed their server several times. And it just happens that they also fulfill like Whistle Pig and several other distilleries. It was like 7 hours that it crashed the server because there were so many people on it trying to buy the whiskey. So they put us on our own server. We crashed that one. Well, so then they put us on Shopify and said we wouldn't have a problem. And we got on Shopify with the Harvester series for 17 minutes. It was
Seconds.
So 17 minutes.
Yeah.
The website
Seconds,
crashed.
yeah.
When they finally got it going again, it took 45 seconds to sell out.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
It was nuts, yeah.
I couldn't believe.
But we're
the-
doing
the
another
fun
one, so
part,
you
yeah.
guys heard it from me.
Normally, that's supposed to be one annual release. Our first harvest was supposed to happen last fall when our harvest season is. But packaging delays slowed it down till a few months ago. So this will be the only year that we have 2 harvests, I guess.
It will be.
We got to get back on track to having our harvest in September when our normal corn harvest is.
Like a farmer's dream to have more than one harvest. Right?
Yeah, no kidding. I guess you're right.
Well, thank
Are
you
you guys
guys.
are you
Yeah.
guys also doing your summer event series where you have the food trucks and stuff like that?
Yep. So yeah, the first Saturday of every month we have a food truck normally. Sometimes like a dessert truck or
Ice cream
trailer, ice cream
truck,
truck
yeah.
or something like that. Yep. And it's really fun. We get a good turnout. So just during the summer months, so it gets too cold in the winter to do that then.
Good to know. Is the distillery open to the public, or do we have to make appointments? Or
Yep,
Yeah, we're
great
open
question.
every Saturday, noon to 4. We do complimentary tours and tastings, so no appointment is necessary. But when you come, we will have everything that you guys tasted today, plus more. We've got some wheat single barrels still there. We've got some 5 grains still there. So if you guys make it down, we almost always have something really special.
Yeah.
Nice. That's only on Saturdays?
Only Saturdays, yeah.
It's kind of more of a destination because we're out kind of not near anything else, and so we really want to consolidate it. We're also a working farm, so we don't want people all the time because it does get dusty and there's harvesters and tractors and trucks and stuff like that. So, yeah.
there's a beef jerky you guys are doing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we did so there's a guy, he's actually in LA, but he does the boozy jerky line. If you Google it, he's got some really fun jerkies, and he did a collab with our bourbon. So it's really good. It's got some nice spicy notes to it, a little bit of like brown sugar,
Garlic.
garlic.
It was super fun to make. Russell, our master distiller, and he sent us probably 10 different types of his jerkies that he's done in the past. And they were all good, but we didn't really necessarily love any of them, but we really liked certain aspects of different ones. And so we called him and we said, hey, we really like the spiciness of this one, but we like the texture of this one, and we like the garlic in this one, and we like this, this part of this one. And he nailed it. He combined all of our likes and made this jerky that's like my favorite thing in the world. Yeah.
You guys are really into collaborations, right? Because you have the candle that we're going to give away today. You guys have coffee. Can you tell us a little bit more about this, just supporting the local economy kind of thing?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, not everybody's going to just want to drink whiskey like this. A lot of our customers are looking for cocktail recipes or the best way to mix it and serve it and host and, other things that they can buy for the Frey Ranch fans in their life. And so the tasting room has been a lot of fun to do all these collabs. And a lot of times when we do the coffee, we've got a local roaster in town, and so he'll age the coffee beans in a used barrel, and then they'll come out and we'll do a pop-up or some
I think that's probably the
cocktails.
5th or 6th different
Yeah.
coffee roaster we've done, which is kind of fun to do different ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so
also
they're
do-
really good.
There's a local brining company in Reno
Oh, the
that makes
boozy pickles are
and so
so
they
fun,
do boozy
yeah.
pickles. We do
There's a chocolate company that did some bourbon truffles, which were really great for Valentine's Day. So yeah, we're always game to try new stuff, and I enjoy it. So
it's fun.
I love that. That's really the difference between a small family-run operation versus big corporate where there's a lot of hoops to jump through.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
You want to try triticale, you just no big deal, just grow it,
Yeah.
malt it, mill it, and then turn it into whiskey. Awesome. This has been really fantastic. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. We're gonna do the randomizer in a minute. You guys can stick around for that if you want to.
Well, we
We
better
gotta
head out
go.
because our nanny is getting ready. Our
Yeah,
nanny
we've
is
got
supposed to-
kids. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you
Yeah,
guys.
we appreciate all you guys. You guys have a
Appreciate
great
it.
day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.